But let me give you a little bit of a teaser about this CBC article. I'll take up the next 5 minutes talking about the CBC article, and I didn't get into it today. But look at this story. Look at this headline. World Economic Forum official says Canada has bigger issues to discuss than conspiracy theories. Adrian Monk responds to criticism, disinformation campaigns targeting the World Economic Forum. Now, this story looks like it's written by Peter Zymonczyk, if I'm pronouncing that right, but actually, he's just writing up a radio interview done by another CBC reporter called Kathy Cullen with this guy, Adrian Monk. And it's a 15-minute radio interview, so obviously I'm not going to play it all now. But here's a short clip of it that our head of video cut. This is only about a minute and a half long. Here, just take a listen to this. There's other fascinating things in the interview, but let me play this minute and 42 seconds for you. Go ahead.
What do you think this is about then for Pierre Poilievre?
I can't really speculate as to what a politician decides to campaign on, but I do think that when it comes to campaigning, I look at Germany, for example, where they've been under a huge threat from Russian disinformation. And politicians on all sides have agreed not to use a variety of different materials that have been circulated kind of nefariously. They've acted to really, put up defenses against disinformation. And I think leaders of every single political stripe in Canada probably need to do the same, because I think if you're in, Canada should be talking about a lot of things right now. It shouldn't really be talking about the World Economic Forum based here in Geneva. There are bigger issues really for it to be thinking about. That ought to be the kind of thing that politicians on the stump are talking to voters about. And to me, it's something that reflects on our democratic systems. We need to protect our public spheres. We need to protect them from outside interference. We need them protected from state actors and bad faith actors. And if that conversation can be protected, then perhaps we can have the kind of public sphere where real policies and real measures are discussed, rather than kind of phantoms, enigmas, and conspiracy theories. Politicians of every single stamp need to look very hard at the language that they use and where some of this stuff comes from. And if it's coming from a space of disinformation and in particular anti-Semitism, I think they need to have a very hard look at themselves and a very hard look in the mirror.
Just absolutely stunning. That was a minute and 42 seconds of a 15-minute interview. Now, so that guy is one of the masters of the universe. He works for that son of a Nazi, Klaus Schwab. And I don't know if he was saying that in Germany, politicians of every stripe have agreed not to talk about certain things. Really? I didn't know that. And he says that other countries like Canada, which he was talking about, should do the same. He said that there should be a protected conversation where you're not allowed to talk about things that he doesn't think you should. And he's very specific. He says Canada should not be talking about the World Economic Forum. And he says all of this is in the interest of democracy. Don't talk about things. Have a collusion amongst politicians not to talk about certain things. Oh, and by the way, if you talk about us, you're anti-Semitic. No, brother. It's your boss who worked for the Nazi. You got another cut, you say? Oh, two chats. It's actually, he just launched a new conspiracy theory, didn't he? He said that politicians in Germany have agreed amongst themselves not to talk about nefarious information. Or he said actually information that was circulated nefariously. Is there a nefarious way to send an email or something like that? I found that really weird and incredible. I don't have time to go into it now because I got to get off the show and I'm going to read the super chats in a second. But I listened to the 15 minutes. I might do a show on this week. I listened to the 15 minutes, and this CBC reporter, who obviously knows nothing about the world, she was like me 10 years ago, reading a Terry Corcoran article and saying, what's that World Economic Forum? I don't know anything. Someone obviously wrote her questions for her. Maybe the World Economic Forum did. Maybe Chrystia Freeland's staff did. And what was incredible is she asked, well, what about this video where you say you'll own nothing and you'll be happy? And Adrian Monk says, yeah, that was something we did. Well, what about the Great Reset? That's a conspiracy theory. well, yeah, that was a project. So every question she had wasn't, no, that's fake. It was confirmed. It was confirmed. I was waiting for 15 and a half minutes for the conspiracy theory. I couldn't, they had none. But you had a conspiracy that he told you about. Apparently German politicians have agreed amongst themselves not to talk about certain things. Oh, okay. And there were twice that this same Adrian Monk said that Russia was behind the anti-WEF propaganda, but he said he didn't have any proof of that. So the only conspiracy theory we heard was by this guy, Adrian Monk. And the CBC reporter just ran with it. She was too dumb to have any questions of her own. She knew nothing about her subject matter. I forgive her in that I knew nothing about the World Economic Forum 10 years ago when I was just reading Terry Corcoran write about it. But you'd think if you were tasked by the CBC to ask a World Economic Forum master of the universe some questions, you might do your homework first. But she works for Trudeau's CBC state broadcaster. She's not allowed to. Incredible story. And by the way, we're going to keep covering the story.
Oh, hi. That was a clip from our Rebel Daily live stream. It's hosted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by the big boss man, Ezra Levant, and Tuesdays and Thursdays by me, Sheila Gunn Reid, and my good friend, David Menzies. On the live stream, we talk about the news of the day, we show some videos, and we interact with our viewers at home. We stream at 12 noon Eastern, 10 Mountain. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, Super U, and Odyssey.